Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticket app with over 28 million downloads. One day the Earth will heal and the Queen will return. Until then, hi ugly. It's me, Basamaran Diaz, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. And today we're going to be reviewing episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 8. Our queens were challenged to serve 3 looks in the Supermarket Ball. And the categories were Legendairy Queens, Fruity Patootie, and Supermarket Supermodel, a look they created there in the workroom using unconventional materials supplied to them by production. So we'll be breaking down each queen's look as I saw it, and discussing what I'm just going to go ahead and call out as the riggery of the Supermarket Ball. Riggery so wild that even the queens themselves were confused at who was placed in top and safe, and one queen, as a result of what happened, is even thinking about going home, we learned in Untucked. So let's go ahead and grab our shopping carts and head on over to aisle 4. It's Jimbo. So for her legendary look, she went literal. She is the dairy. She, I guess, is the milk in the cup that you've blown all the bubbles in. And it's got a kind of 90s club kid vibe. It's almost a face kini, but the full face is exposed. She's got little clear balls all over this look, which are, of course, supposed to be the bubbles that you blew into the milk. And I think the most interesting part of this look are the giant sleeves, or fins, I guess they kind of look like. Plus, it's definitely a unique look, both in the Jimbo catalog and on the runway tonight, so I'm gonna give it a hot. But concerning her Fruity Patootie look, so every other queen on the runway tonight went more literal, I guess, and actually created looks based on fruits. But Jimbo went a little more heady and abstract. She's got this Warholian kind of print dress that has the faces of Rupaul, Cher, and I think that's Marsha P. Johnson from, the Stonewall riots, where, according to Derek Barry, a lot of people died. With the joke being that the people's faces on the dress are the fruits. And I love how glamorous and supermodel Jimbo truly is looking here. But I do feel like maybe she went a little too far in abstracting the brief, trying to be unique with her runway delivery. At the end of the day, I think the queens were supposed to be fitting the Supermarket Ball theme, and I don't look at this look and in any way think supermarket. However, the judges don't seem to mind that she strayed so far from the brief, perhaps because RuPaul's face is on the dress. But I think undeniably the look is hot. And for her final look, Supermarket Supermodel, she is a head of lettuce, an artichoke heart, all of the green leaves in the grocery store combined to make one little cute kind of cocktail dress, kind of leotard type of fantasy, or as Michelle called it, stuff glued to a corset, which I thought was a little harsh for this. I do like that she very obviously used unconventional materials, which would have been, I suppose, the plastic fake fruits and vegetables from the supermarket. And I think she did a good job making it visually interesting with like depths and layers of color. But I do think it's missing that final element of wow or va-va-voom that would bring it into that high fashion runway in Paris type of vibe. So I definitely would give this look a safe hot, but it does make me wonder, maybe she shouldn't have compromised for, as she says, trying to maybe give the judges what they want here, because her original idea is to do something funny and irreverent with the baby dolls and diapers and sausage links. And next up, it seems the dairy farm is missing an angel. It's Kahanna Montrese, who's giving us a fully synchronized cow print cat suit with a giant cutout in the middle where maybe the cow udders might be, but instead she's just got that hot potty yaddy yaddy and a little peekaboo of her chest plate underneath the top part of that cut. And my favorite parts of the look on this old Bessie are the gloves and that big giant bow on her waist. And the look is definitely hot, but I do think there's something a little awkward about the cutout, the chest plate in the center, and just this middle part in general. But hey, she brought a new body to Drag Race and she wants to show it off, and I'm not that mad about it. And next up for her Fruity Patootie look, we've got a little bit of a trend alert going on because Heidi just did a runway, I think it was on the first episode, that she called out was a reference to Chris Tucker in Fifth Element as well. And this look might be one of the most beautiful on the runway tonight. It is truly stunning. Like, to take a banana in its true tones of that kind of muddy yellow and brown edges and integrate all of that in a way that is still elegant, classy, and showgirly, I think is really special. And honestly, everything about this look down to the hair, I mean, it's untouchable. And girl, peel me off a piece. This banana is hot. And for her final look, she's created a blue and yellow superheroine type fantasy. And about this look on Twitter, she wrote, "I love this look I sewed myself. I made it with 3 pool floaties and a laundry basket net. Honestly, anything was better than being in the bottom again, but I know I turned that ball out." I thought this look was an extremely creative use of that plasticky floaty material, and I was impressed that she got it to stay in such sharp, jagged lines with such a dramatic silhouette. Like, this is a really cool look. Plus, I think it shows off Kahanna's versatility really well. Like, each of her 3 looks tonight were so different. And I was shocked that she wasn't at least in top tonight, but I will say this look did kind of lose maybe the idea of Supermarket to me, which I think was intended to have some kind of organic feeling component to it, but she used the materials that were given, so can't be too mad about it. This look is definitely hot. And you know, watching TV on your couch is fun and all, but nothing beats getting a great deal on tickets to a live event with today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. Check it out. SeatGeek's got tickets for everything. Let's say I want to catch Blink-182 live in concert. It looks like they're going to be here in Austin on July 7th. And let's say I'm looking for the best deal on 2 tickets in the best possible seats. Just 2 taps and here we are. Tickets are available in section 106, row J. And I know they're a good deal because SeatGeek rates all of the tickets that are for sale in the app on a 1 through 10 point system. And these are rated a 9.7 with a bright green dot, an amazing deal. I also love shopping for tickets using SeatGeek because I can see ticket prices including fees, which means no nasty surprises at checkout. And no matter what kind of tickets I'm looking for, I know I can shop confidently on SeatGeek because they've got you covered with their buyer guarantee. Plus, SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. And best of all, SeatGeek's partnered with me to save you even more money. Just click the link in the description of my video to download SeatGeek right now and get $20 off your first purchase with promo code BussyQueen. That's right, download SeatGeek using the link in the description and use promo code BussyQueen at checkout to save yourself $20 on some amazing tickets. Thanks SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. And next up, we've got Jaymes Mansfield, who for her legendary look is giving us a little milk and cookies. And this look is both so cute and campy and also fashionable. I love that these hands that are both on the actual dress part of the look and then grabbing the cookies around her neck are very much in vogue. We've seen queens on different Drag Race franchises do looks with hands on them like Pythia or Sagittaria. And in fashion, we have seen this pop up from time to time. Gaga had hands all over her look back in the day. Beyonce has hands all over her bodysuit that she's wearing on the Renaissance tour right now. And I love that this look is that 100% cartoony, campy, but demented 60s woman. It's a really cute and smart look. It's absolutely hot. See me with them hands. But for her Fruity Patootie look, this was probably my least favorite of James's tonight. I think her hair and makeup are really gorgeous, and I do love the yellow color on her and that she has chosen lemon as the fruit. But something about the fit is off. I think the panty is kind of scrunching up in weird ways, and the corset looks like she just kept adding more and more things to it until it's just arrived at a confusing to the eye place. This lemon got a little sour for me, so I'm gonna give it a rot, but she definitely turned it around for her final look. Big surprise though, she's giving us a little housewife fantasy who's maybe gone to the supermarket, picked up some cleaner, and is now cleaning her way down the runway. And they didn't say exactly what materials Jaymes used, but I think it was some combination of dish and bath towels. And I like that she kept it within the theme of supermarket, especially when you enter the world of Jaymes Mansfield in the 50s and 60s and you're thinking housewife, she's shopping, and then, you know, she turns a little demented. She's got her crazy character that she has invented out of the cleaning canister. High fashion though, maybe not, but I would definitely give this look a hot. And next up, how about a little trip to the candy aisle? And for her first look, she is giving us futuristic splashed milk for your nerves. I really liked the molded pieces of this outfit that are kind of armor-esque and give a really visually interesting silhouette to her. Definitely fashionable, definitely ball-worthy. I'm gonna give this look a hot. And for Fruity Patootie, I was really surprised at how interesting this look was. She chose cherry for her fruit and has twisted that into this pinup 20s burlesque kind of fantasy with this really beautiful finger waves hair, cherry fascinator, and then my favorite detail of this look, instead of beading along the bottom part of the corset, she's got like cherry decorations. This looks absolutely hot. But then for her final look, she has given us something that I think is like 1 degree away from Jiggly Caliente's baked potato look from her original season, but that 1 degree did make all the difference. Kandy looks great here, and I think it was a really interesting and creative use of fire blankets. The skirt part moves really well on the runway, and I think all of the fluffiness of the bottom juxtaposed to the sharp lines of that kind of triangle piece on the chest is really smart from a visual perspective. Kind of reminded me actually of the silver triangle look that Miss Fierce Delicious did on on Canada's Drag Race, when life imitates art. And overall, I do think Kandy did a great job in the ball, but I also think Michelle's critique was valid. She called out that everything was kind of a leotard, maybe with an extra accessory or so. I think shaking it up in the next couple of runways will be something that both the fans and the judges will be looking for. Concerning what she thought about the placements tonight though, on Twitter she wrote, "I get my first top placement after literally being safe for 2 weeks in a row and suddenly production is pushing me. Bitch, it ain't my fault your fave wasn't in the top. That ain't got shit to do with me. Go cry about it." And next up, our favorite producer, Alexis Michelle, who this episode decided it was a good idea to bring up the topic of swings for discussion in the workroom. And honestly, I think I learned a little too much about some of the queens. But here we are. For her legendary look, she is, big surprise, a cow. There were so many cow looks tonight, and this one, I've got to say, I think was the least successful. I do like that she tried something different, but overall, it was just a little messy. I think the cow print itself was too small, so like visually, there's a lot going on with just the print. And then she has used that print in a like biker mama kind of style, and then she's also wearing a mask, which takes us to like Campville, and she's got this crazy little poofy cow hair and a tail, and a red bandana. Too much things going on, way too many things, ideas. And I think had she just stopped with biker cow print, we might have been okay here. But as presented, this look did not move me. It's a wrap. Oh my God, not to mention, she literally came down the runway eating grass. What the hell was that? Why did she do that? But for her Fruity Patootie look, I think she was successful. She chose blueberry to emulate, and she's kind of giving an 80s going to prom vibe. And this style in general, I don't think it's something that resonates very well with my personal taste, but I do appreciate the drama and the opulence, I think especially waist down. Plus I thought the little blueberry hairballs on her hair, they were a little odd. Like it didn't totally read blueberry to me. It just looks like strange little things in her hair. It's a pretty look. I would give this like a 3 flame safe hot. And finally for Supermarket Supermodel look, I didn't really understand this one either. She's got this like paper bag fringe skirt with some kind of mesh top. I think it's maybe supposed to be like a burlap potato sack type thing. And overall, I think the contrast of these two very different pieces is there's really just at war with each other. And I don't think anything about either piece is necessarily fashion forward. And like I think for the category of Supermarket Supermodel in a ball as the finale look, like it's just not giving the wow moment or anything really particularly fashionable. So I'd give this look a rock. And next up, infamous designer LaLa, who of course went viral for her bag look from the bag ball in her original season. And we hear her in the workroom talking about how she has learned how to sew, maybe. She starts like working on the machine and there's like no thread in it, and I was like, oh no, girl. Oh no, girl. For Legendairy Queens, she gave a cow print fantasy, which was maybe my favorite cow print fantasy of the night. And I really enjoyed the whimsicality that she brought into this more kind of chains and whips type of fantasy with like the collection of milk cartons that she's holding in her hands. Like maybe she's a milk bounty hunter or something. I think those giant shoulder pads are really chic and it tells a story and it's intriguing and fashionable. And I think this look is hot. And her Fruity Patootie, she has chosen caramel apple, and I think there are sweet spots and sour spots here. The apple red latex dress is really, really gorgeous, but the caramel part, it was a little off to me. I think it's very heavy in the neck area and the head area. I think this would have been more successful had she just done the headpiece like that, maybe finessed a little tighter, maybe some crystals. Then instead of that giant neck collar piece of caramel, actually done brown latex drips down the red part stitched in. But I will give this look a hot. And finally, her Supermarket Supermodel look. I don't know about this. I was really shocked to see the judges respond in the way that they did to this, because like I think it's fine, but I don't even know what the unconventional material was. Like I think this is maybe those plastic rubber things that you put in your drawer, like so things don't slide around it like in the kitchen. I will say though, she looks beautiful bald. Like this is a beautiful bald queen, and I do love that fantasy for her. I just really don't know though. It's giving like potato sack with a head hole, and it certainly is an improvement over her bag ball look. It feels a little too simple for the category, but I would give it like a safe hot because she created something presentable. And next up, let's take a refreshing dip into the cool lactose-filled waters of Darienne Lake. And for her Legendairy Queen look, she is milk, of course. You can choose. You can be milk or you can be cows. And this look really wasn't that successful. I think because it was all white and reflecting so much light, you lose the depth of like the drips going down the bottom part of the gown. And there's also, I think, way too much fabric on the top part. Like it kind of just ends up giving, I put a sheet over my head and cut a hole in it and I'm a ghost for Halloween, more than it is milk. But knowing Darienne, I think she really could have taken this to a much more creative or campy, interesting place. So I'm gonna give this look a. Her fruity patootie look though, I think was very refreshing. It was this kind of fruit cocktail kimono with lots of movement and lots of crazy color that comes off into a sparkly catsuit where she's got cherries, whipped cream, and bananas and whipped cream, and she is a banana split. And like this is the type of creative, campy whimsicality I think that we are growing to know and love from Darienne Lake. So I would give this look a. But her design look, she's giving us a little rainbow bright for your nerves. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know what she wanted to accomplish, but it's a mess really all around, from just the actual design of the dress to the materials that she used to create it. I think she fell into the trap of wanting it to look like more than it was. So she kept adding different things to it and it just ended up kind of a mess. It just was not visually appealing to the eye and I don't think fashionable or forward thinking. So I give this look a. And next up, Jessica Wilde. For her Legendairy Queen look, she is giving us a bowl of cereal and milk. And this is a really fun take, I think, on this category, because she said, I'm gonna be the milk, but I'm gonna add some stuff to it. So necessary here, when so many queens, I think, were just dressing as cows or like the milk itself. And this look is both a gorgeous gown, but also has that very silly Jessica Wilde take to it. And like also the pageanty glamour of all the cereal loops being sequined. It was great, this look is hot. And for Fruity Patootie, she's giving us a little callback to her original season where the girls had to make like ad campaigns based on flavors of Absolute Vodka, and her flavor was acai berry, a fruit that we see used here in her runway. I love that drink. She gave me a little bit of Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, but she like is the picnic blanket and the bushel of berries. And I do think this is like a solidly hot look from Jessica, but it doesn't feel very fresh to me. Like this particular silhouette, I think is something that is done over and over and over, both on the Drag Race runway and in places like costume stores. Like if you were looking for, you know, a Dorothy costume. And I think maybe she could have done something more unique here. And for her Supermarket Supermodel look, we see her in the workroom playing with diapers. And the girls are like, please do not make her look out of diapers, which thankfully she didn't. But I think maybe the middle part, that white section was. So if it was, that was definitely a creative use of those. And I'll say props to you, mama. And this look overall is simple, pretty, flowery, effervescent, kind of evoking like her butterfly runway from last week, that very girly side of Jessica Wilde. But I don't really love how short the train is, or that this look is basically the definition of what the judges over the years have told queens not to do in challenges like this. Like, is this not the poster child of just gluing things to a bodysuit or a corset? And like, don't get me wrong, I think she looks really pretty. I'm gonna give her a hot here because she executed a vision. I think it fits the theme of Supermarket, and you know, she's giving glamazon. It's just not like in that wow super crazy fashionable moment for me. And next up, she doesn't sew because she's not Amish and she's got good credit. It's Mrs. Kasha Davis. That really took me out. For her Legendairy Queen look, she is telling us in her confessional that she's supposed to be sour cream, and I guess to evoke sour cream she's making like a sour face on the runway, but this didn't really like sell sour cream to me other than her face. She really actually kind of looked like one of those little creamer cups that you'd see on like a diner table with the little handle and spout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. I mean, this is like a warming up for me. She was close, but just, I think, failed to hit an interesting concept. But her Fruity Patootie look, one of my favorites, I think, on the runway tonight. I love how va-va-voom this is. It's very Showgirls meets Carnival, but she's covered in bananas. I think this is the opulence, glamour, and high drag that the RuPaul's Drag Race runway demands, and that I think a lot of us have wanted to see from Mrs. Kasha Davis on the runway, and she proved she can do it. She looks great in this look. I think though the obvious critique you could give this look is a lot of the queens maybe transformed their fruit a little bit more for their look or became the fruit, and she maybe had a really pretty yellow dress in her closet that she added some bananas to, but who can never be sure? This look is hot, but oh my god, her final look. This is like golden boot of the season. Like, it has to be. I don't know what would beat this. And I don't know why she did this. I don't know how she did this. I don't know why the other queens in the workroom let her do this. Like, I think they wanted her to go home if they let her walk out on the runway like that. She says that the inspiration for this was a kid's birthday party. And in that sense, yeah, sure. It's a kid's birthday party. Every aisle of the supermarket and the kitchen sink and 47 glue sticks, she says, all in one crazy explosion of insanity. It really is visually assaulting. There's nothing about this that's fashionable, forward-thinking, or, my God, even like representative of her drag. I just don't get it. Definitely a rot here. And finally, we enter an active crime scene. There's been a robbery of Heidi N Closet. So first up, Legendairy Queen look. Chef's kiss. She's not just milk. She's not a cow. Why did the producers not ask some of the queens to change their looks? I know they see these looks before they get there. It's like everyone is milk or a cow. Come on. Heidi is the milkman, or maybe the milk milf. Yeah, on a serious note, I love that she took a really classic reference of Milkman and made it into this fashion-forward latex, really interestingly cut skirt, jacket, top, hat. It's really fun, campy, and also fashionable. This look is so hot. But if her milk wasn't enough to satisfy you, then her strawberry will be. This look. Are you joking? Like, how did she not get more recognition? I'm shook, I'm gagging, I'm choking. This look is so cute. Maybe the best on the runway tonight. The pants are the strawberry, and like that shape that she has created out of them is really interesting. There's literally the crystals from like the strawberry seed. The top part is the stem. So brilliant, fashionable, flirty. And it's just so unique for the Drag Race runway and this runway in particular. And my God, she looks great. This look is hot. And finally, for Supermarket Supermodel. Again, another stellar look from Heidi. She is in this gown that I think she has created from napkins that are orange, red, and pink. And there's a beautiful layering of ombre that she has created with a peplum moment and this beautiful trumpet skirt at the bottom. A really great and impressive piece of fashion that she is wearing here. So for me, sunset. I was so impressed with Heidi this episode. Seriously. And for what happened to have happened, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. But my patrons do already know that because I react to these episodes on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen, which is my exclusive members only website where my patron family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos, access to exclusive videos like my reactions, and access to the Bussy Queen Discord server. And you can join and help support my channel by clicking the link in the description of this video. See you there. But before we get to what she said in Untucked and what she's been saying online about this episode, let's finish with placement. The judges give the bottom two this week to Darienne Lake and Mrs. Kasha Davis. And solely based on their final looks, I would absolutely agree that these were hands down the worst two looks on the runway. But all three looks considered, my two lowest scored queens were Darienne Lake and Alexis Michelle. Mrs. Kasha Davis on my scorecard has just one more point, which she earned for that middle look. I will also say that Kasha Davis maybe shot herself in the foot a little bit here because in the critiquing session on the runway, she basically gives a goodbye speech to Rupaul and the other judges, and she's like, thank you for letting me be here and be a part of the family and the experience and yada yada yada. And you're like, girl, don't do that. Rupaul hates when queens do stuff like that. And you can even kind of see Ru immediately just be like, she's not got it. The exact thing Ru says is, thank you for that. It's just kind of an awkward little exchange there. But bottom two, definitely made sense for me. They always kind of weigh the design challenge looks heavier than the three looks considered, which, fair or not, I'll let you guys decide that in the comments below. And the win this episode goes to Jessica Wilde, which, based on my scorecard, I would have given the win to Heidi. No competition. She has a full 15 points from me, 5 in each look. And the next highest ranked queens on my list tonight are Jimbo, Kandy, and Kahanna. And I think Jessica did well. I'm certainly not trying to discredit her win here or anything. It's just that as a viewer, it felt like they overlooked so many other queens that I think went a little more above and beyond than the queen they chose for the win tonight. So as the winner of this week, Jessica Wilde gets to lip sync against the lip sync assassin, who is Raja O'Hara, and they lip sync to Coconuts by Petras, where Jessica wears the tiggle bitties that she has apparently borrowed from Yara Sofia from her talent show, which ultimately win her the lip sync. And $30,000. Wow. $30,000 for a lip sync to Coconuts, which was a funny lip sync, but like was mostly just her being silly. You go Glen Coco, you go Glen Coconuts. And I'm not a huge fan of the lip sync assassin twist because I think it complicates certain aspects of the show and also just kind of allows the producers to run wild and do whatever they want to do. But I think another interesting component of this is, will the lip sync assassin actually give it their everything when they hear that a queen who they know and love could, I don't know, let's say win $30,000? Like, we see Raja have that moment, right? She's like, $30,000, oh my God. But I think the same question applies for even the $10,000 lip syncs, because that's a lot of money. Like, how would you feel if you were asked back on the show and essentially you were responsible for the winner of that week not winning their lip sync prize? Would that feel good? So like, did Raja give it her all in the lip sync? I don't know. She's a great lip syncer. I didn't get like the iconic Raja lip sync vibe from it, but I also wouldn't blame her for basically just kind of letting Jessica do her thing because she kind of wants Jessica to have the money, right? Just some coconuts for thought. But in the end, Jessica takes the win, reveals her lipstick, and it's got Mrs. Kasha Davis's name on it, which was actually heartbreaking. I rarely will get like teary-eyed or anything over an elimination, but for Kasha Davis, I did. Like, she is such a wholesome person, and she's just like walking off the stage and she's like, there's always time for kindness. And you're like, you're right. There's always time for kindness. It broke my heart. Let's jump back to Heidi, who did not even get a top placement this episode. She was literally just safe for those 3 looks. Rue had one too many coffee enemas this episode, clearly. We see Heidi get very upset about this, and in Tucked, she's thinking about going home. She's telling the queen she's not happy with how critiques are going. She calls out that Jimbo's dairy look wasn't very dairy. And then she actually says, y'all are in for a gag tonight, honey. I'm leaving. And that's all we see in the episode from this bit of drama about Heidi potentially leaving. I'm heartbroken at the idea that she is going to leave next episode, but based on what she said here, it's highly possible. And I don't totally blame her. Like, if those were my ball looks and I saw the other ball looks, I mean, I would have been like, come on, like, what the hell is going on? Why am I not at least high? And on Twitter, Heidi wrote this: I was a bit anxious about this episode coming up, but I'm so happy that most people have decided to send love. Also, thank you all for being kind with me in a time of weakness. To be fair, I had a strong challenge, just weak mental state. And she also shared with us that she wasn't the only one who maybe thought she should have been placed in top this episode. She wrote, I remember Jessica pulling me aside before critiques, but after we had walked the runway and she said, Heidi, I think you're going to win. Plus, we also see confessionals from people like Kahanna who are talking about how they don't see Jessica as being the winner of this episode. So like, all around, there just was no consensus between the queens in the episode, us as an audience, or the judges and their decisions. And you know, All Stars does quite often end up feeling very produced, but this I think was a new level. Because not only did Heidi not get recognition, but they also did things like put LaLa in the top, seemingly to push the storyline narrative of she did bad in her first ball and this was some huge redemption for her. And sure, I think she did okay, but it didn't feel like, wow, we've really come full circle. It was just like, okay, you know, she didn't glue bags to a corset this time. Great. But I don't know. I'd love to know what y'all thought down in the comments below. And I want to give an extra special thanks to today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. Don't forget to click the link in the description of my video to download the SeatGeek app and get $20 off your first purchase with promo code BussyQueen. As for my hottest haunt this episode, in each of the 3 categories, Legendairy Queen, Fruity Patootie, and Supermarket Supermodel, I'm going to give it to Heidi N Closet. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest haunts, and in that same respective order, they've chosen Justice for Heidi! And finally, I want to say thanks for watching today's video and give an extra special shout out to Trevor Henry, Sweet Lily, Noah Flaidland, Nikki Awa, Urias Davis, and Scooter Raccoon, who've all just joined my Patreon at the hot tier, and Ashley Brungart, Dorothy Hall, Felicia, Frankie, Jeffrey Steenberg, Laura Bassett, Louis Labrador, Ruff, Matthew Burns, Matto, Panda Kitty, Sailor, Stephen Topher, Tyler Hendricks MD, Billy, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.